Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and with me, of course, is the techie with the most. There's the cubby at the top, my lovely cubby Joe. How are you, darling?
Is it over yet?
Oh,
Like some of y'all been getting tired of seeing us.
no, not really. They've just seen you today now. I've been on stream all day, baby. And, you know, the record stream is 73 hours. I don't know. Maybe we ought to take that on.
I'm just telling you now, I'm getting one of those porta potty chairs, and that means the invisible assistant for 74 hours has to dump the pot. Just telling you now. I'm just telling you now. Like, no, I'm going to be sitting here midstream just like, ugh, and we'll just keep going. Yep. I'm just telling you, for 70 some hours, yeah, no. Like, anyway, it's been a week.
It has. But no, this is a big thing right now. As long as live streams, the world's record for the longest live stream on YouTube about an actor archive. Here we go, 2021. I saw 11 days.
Oh, good God! No, we ain't even trying that. Like,
Yeah.
no. Like, what the hell is that? A PBS telethon?
No, it was it was two people. Longest live stream about on YouTube about an actor is archived by Vabhora Adiana and Nikia Magole on the April 21st, 2021 from New Delhi, India. They did a longest live stream on YouTube. Yeah, it's 11 days. 281 hours and 56 minutes.
Oh my God. No. Like, I bet you don't get to download that one to watch later.
Oh, I don't think you could be held to be watched later.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, how many devices have the watch later capability? For like that many hours. Like, you would have to go down in like resolution to like nothing. Like, can I get it as a postage stamp?
I don't know. If we get monetized, let's do that. If we get monetized, we'll do a 3-day live stream. Us two and Dottie. But we all got to get monetized.
No. That's a horrible idea. And did you do cocaine today?
No, I have not done cocaine since there was a 19 in front of the year. It's been over a century since I've done cocaine. Thank you very much. And this house would be cleaner.
Well, you are on live streams. I was going to cut you some slack, but then I was going to crack a whip after the show.
What can I say? God. Alcohol makes me a bitch. Cocaine makes me an OCD freak.
Yeah, sure. Blame it on the alcohol.
Uh-huh.
Like, anywho, but no, I'm just not even seeing our regulars. Our regulars are just like, no, we're done.
Yeah.
We were.
It's been a busy day. For those that don't know, March 25th is West Virginia's Pagan Day of Prayer, and we done 4 live streams at 9 a.m., noon, 3, 6, and 9 again. So 5 live streams. And then we came over for Mountain Bears because there's some hot topics and some problems we need to be discussing.
There you
We
go.
got some major problems in Japan. And all I have to say is somebody needs to ship them some super glue yesterday.
Well, why did
Japan's
they just
killing
fill it with,
stone.
like, I thought they filled stuff with gold.
We'll
Is that
start
not
with
how that
super
works?
glue.
Yeah, that's
Killing
Japan, not
stones.
China. Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. That's what I said. Japan.
Okay.
Okay. The killing stone split in two. Superstition admits that the surface of spring. Oh, the legend has it that there is an evil spirit that was trapped in blank stone. So what happens now that the stone is broken? Good possibility that demon's been released. Wonder if we can send him to Russia.
Are we sure we didn't just find it and that explains like the Vladimir Putin presidency?
No, because this
Or
was
the Trump
being monitored.
presidency?
Yep. Okay, you take the news part of it. I'll take the other part.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So, predictions of dark forces being unleashed by an evil vixen hung over social media in Japan on Monday after a famous volcanic rock said to kill anyone who comes in contact with it was found split in two. According to the mythology surrounding the Seshoshiki, or killing stone, the object contains the transformed corpse of, oh man, someone, a beautiful woman who had been part of a secret plot hatched by a feudal warlord to kill Emperor Toba, who reigned from 1107 to 1123. Legend has it that her true identity was an evil nine-tailed fox whose spirit is embedded in the hunk of lava located in an area of Tochigi Prefecture near Tokyo, famous for its sulfurous hot springs. In its separation into two roughly equal parts believed to have occurred within the past few days has spooked online users who noted that, according to folklore, the stone continually spews poisonous gas, hence its name. While the stone was said to have been destroyed and its spirit exorcised by a Buddhist monk who scattered its pieces across Japan, many Japanese prefer to believe that its home is on the slopes of Mount Nassau. Nasu?
Nasu.
So yeah. So yeah, visitors to the area recoiled in horror at the weekend. After witnesses posted photos of the fractured stone, a length of rope that had been secured around its circumference lying on the ground. I feel like I've seen something that shouldn't be seen, one Twitter user said in a post that has attracted almost 170,000 likes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, that did really break apart.
It did.
Like, that's just, like, I was thinking it like, boop. But no, this is like, boom.
Mm-hmm.
The alien spaceship has opened.
Mm-hmm.
The alien spaceship has opened.
Well, the demon incarnate has opened and it has been released. Now, if you are the practitioner that opened this up, you have 2 missions. 1, get it to its target, and 2, put it back in the stone where it belongs.
I mean, it's not like Pokemon.
Yes, it is.
I don't think it works like Pokemon. Does it work like Pokemon? Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Open the bottle, use the demon for what you needed to, put it back in the bottle, bury it back where it belongs.
Well, you know. It is a good general theory, right? But yeah, I was going to bring that picture up for us. There we go. There we go. So, yeah. So yeah, you can see it is split right
And
there, the
blue.
big stone in dead center. So
Yep.
yeah. But yeah. But no, it's really like Pokemon. That just, I don't know. That just like,
Mm-hmm.
error. That just seems wrong somehow.
You're right.
Anyhow.
Yeah, the stone, which was registered as a local historical site in 1957, was mentioned in multiple works. The Narrow Road to the Deep North, and inspired a play, a novel, and an animated film.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
local and national government officials will meet to discuss the stone's fate, according to. Oh, good God! I'm not even trying. A local newspaper quoted a local tourism official as saying he would like to see the stone restored to its original form, presumably with its demonic inhabitant sealed within.
Right.
So, yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yes.
Because, I mean, come on.
Yes. So, in other news, the governor of Utah. I normally don't agree with him. He's normally an asshole. But he actually wrote a nice letter and vetoed a bill. And of course, his Republican led Senate has overturned his veto. And 4 athletes in the state will lose the ability to play sports. Those 4 trans athletes is now isolated. Yeah.
Sorry I'd take over on that one, but I'm paywalled.
I understand that. Give me a minute.
Okay, I was just letting you know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see it. I thought it was just the normal. You could subscribe and support us.
Yeah.
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 So many things.
And of course, we know the Utah Senate legislature is being sued for being unconstitutional.
Oh, that's always fun.
Well, this is only one of their own court battles.
True.
Yep. All right, Desert News. Hello, Desert News. And I'm looking at their largest paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even making the news. Like that news.
That's a little odd.
It is.
Okay.
Here we go. AP to the rescue.
Hooray! Hooray for the Associated Press.
Yep. There we go.
Alrighty. Oh, just bringing that over. So, Utah bans transgender athletes in girls' sports despite veto. So, GOP lawmakers in Utah pushed through a ban on transgender youth athletes playing on girls' teams Friday, overriding a veto and joining 11 other states with similar laws amid a nationwide culture war. A veto letter from Governor Spencer Cox drew national attention with a poignant argument that such laws target vulnerable transgender kids already at high suicide risk. Business leaders also sounded the alarm that the ban could have a multi-million-dollar economic impact on Utah. Before the veto, the ban received support from a majority of Utah lawmakers, but fell short of the 2/3 needed to override it. Its sponsors on Friday flipped 10 Republicans in the House and 5 in the Senate who had previously voted against the proposal. Cox was the second GOP governor this week to overrule lawmakers on a sports participation ban, but the proposal won support from a vocal conservative base that has particular sway in Utah state primary season.
So they're grandstanding at the lives of these children. Okay. And, the NBA All-Stars games next year might not be in Utah. Good. Go to a state that wants them. Don't come to West Virginia because we have the same stupid law here being discriminatory.
Yeah. Well, and you start these fights and inject them into politics, said Terry Schilling, president of the American Principles Project. You pass them in a few states and it starts to take on a life of its own and becomes organic. We helped start this fight and we're helping carry it through, but a lot of this is coming from the local level. That's probably the ugliest statement on that, is that this is going to end up being legislation that just is going to very unfortunately, it's snowballing,
right?
And it's ridiculous.
Yes, yeah, and it's totally ridiculous at this point. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to the Supreme Court remind everybody what the hell do they, that this is America, and that you don't put children at risk in America.
Yeah, lawmakers anticipate court challenges similar to blocked bans in Idaho and West Virginia, where athletes have said the policies violate their civil rights. They've argued the bans violate their privacy rights due to tests required if an athlete's gender is challenged. The ACLU of Utah said on Friday that a lawsuit was inevitable.
Yep. They want these lawsuits. They want to challenge and exhaust our resources. So, guys, be donating to the ACLU, be donating to GLAAD, and really be paying attention. This is a swing year. Where is your possible electoral state and city government on your rights? Are they backing these bills that are discriminatory? Because guess what? It's going to be like everything else. This year, they have gone after trans rights. They have gone after LGBT rights. They keep going after the women's body, thinking that they have the ability to control it. Hello, Texas, you don't.
Yeah. But now, if you're wondering where your tax dollars are going, lawmakers also amended the ban on Friday to provide taxpayer dollars to underwrite fees from potential lawsuits and insulate districts and the association from liability.
Yes, it is. So this is what you do. You hit them in the pocket. You hit them in their own businesses. You don't shop at these lawmakers as businesses, people, and you don't donate to their campaigns. I tell you what, one of these legislators, there's one up in Huntington. I know the dude. We've covered him on the show before. He owns a hot dog stand. I don't care if he was the only hot dog stand in West Virginia. We'd go to Ohio to get hot dogs.
Fair enough. We would.
Okay. We've got to start standing back up. A lot of the movement thought that we won the right to marriage and it was solid because it went through the Supreme Court. We have already learned with Roe v. Wade, we have not won that right. It has been challenged in court. It hasn't been forced through court.
Well, and moreover, that's one very specific right. That's exactly. Not even if that's one right. And that doesn't mean it can't end up being reinterpreted, that we can't see other cases come through that try to argue that, well, it's lesser marriage, that it's this, that it's that it doesn't apply for the IRS, it doesn't apply for employers, it doesn't, sincerely held religious belief. I've been waiting for some dumbass to try that one.
Oh, I'm
just
sure
like the Hobby Lobby case, case that said, no, we don't have to provide, birth control because, we have a sincerely held religious belief that apparently women should be nothing but a baby maker.
Well, I have a sincerely held religious belief that a real lawmaker fails their state, we should behead them. When do we get to do that to Marjorie? It's my sincere religious belief.
Well, that's not how it works.
Uh-huh.
Just because we don't have enough money. If we
That's
had enough money, we could make that a thing.
Yeah. Now, an old
Look, it's the
crone.
reality.
Right. An old crone popped up in the mail again in the news feed this week. Oh, and and I'm not talking in an honorable way. You remember old Kim Davis, sorry, they're kin to each other. They look the same. Both look like dogs weared out.
Yeah. That's probably the best description of Kim Davis.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Her and Baby Dog must have a family relation there. But anyhow, a federal judge rules Kim Davis violated the rights when she refused to marry the same-sex couple in 2015. I hope, and they're still filing briefs on how much is going to be paid. The jury will now decide the damages to be awarded to the plaintiffs. I say billions. Empty everything the next 7 generations of her family have and liquidate her assets at auction.
Yeah, so it is this court's opinion that Davis violated plaintiff's constitutional right to marry, and the only remaining issue is the issue of damages. Bunning, who serves on the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Kentucky, wrote in a memorandum and opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, everything else is just going back through the whole situation and what happened. But, yeah.
Right. Of course,
Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis, it's just not been long enough.
Yeah, she did lose her belt for re-election in 2018. Yes. Good job, Kentucky. Now, can you get the snapping turtle out of Congress? He's been waiting to be made into glue for a while now. Now, of course, the Liberty Counsel, the conservative law group representing Kim Davis, said in a statement that they will continue to argue that she has no liability for damages because she was entitled to religious accommodations. It's already been ruled you were not.
Oh, please. They are still arguing whether to get off the Mayflower.
Yeah, I know they are. They all need to go back to where they belong in Holland.
Oh. It's insane.
It is. It is insane. It is detrimental to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I think we need everything. No, she needs to realize what she done. So we need a complete attachment to every asset and a judgment that's enforceable by liquidation to every asset she, her family, ever owned for the past 5 years that this court case has gone on. All 3 of her ex-husbands need to be sending their alimony checks to these couples.
Probably about how that may work out.
Not just her GoFundMe profits.
Yes. Of course, that was also the hilarious moment in it. Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to just take a moment and go, if this was Kim Davis, marriage number one and only high school sweetheart, it would have made more sense.
Right.
I'm not the only one with that, but it's multiply divorced, adultering Kim Davis. Which, by the way, God, I want to see the pictures of the guys. They have to be hideous. I'm just saying. Between the personality alone. You would think one could do better.
Oh, there were GoFundMes made for her to support her through her 90 days in jail for refusing to do what a judge told her to do.
True.
Now I think they ought to go after defamation claims, and I believe, which rock band was it? I believe it was Who Done War of the Tiger.
Oh. Eye of the Tiger?
Eye of the Tiger.
Sorry, my brain had to refocus. I was like, wait, I don't think that's the right.
It is Eye of the Tiger, and it's by
Survivor.
Survivor. They should sue her for copyright. They played it at her rally. She should be sued for copyright and defamation of character.
Yeah, really. You'd think they would have taken that one on. Like, that was a big hot topic during, like, the past few elections.
Well, I think that it's
Like-
being took on. But however, I think it's being took on by a different channel. You got to remember, we went through 3 years of COVID, so the courts got backed up. And I believe filings got backed up. And you got to meet with lawyers and entertainment lawyers. And you got at least 5 copyright owners on that song that's all got to agree to go after her ass.
True. True.
Okay?
Oh, goodness.
You know, so
yeah.
Eye of the Tiger, who owns them?
Oh, it's probably Michael Jackson. You know it's Michael Jackson. Survey says Michael Jackson. He owns all music.
Who owns copyright of Eye of the Tiger? The company that owns Survivor guitarist co-wrote the song, Frankie Survivin'. They settled out of court, and it came to light that Huckabee listed the $25,000 cost as a campaign expense. Oh, so Huckabee had to pay money for this. Why does this not make my news feed? Yes, it was one. So they've already had to pay $25,000 to it. Go after every time this is done, guys. Sue. Shut them down with their pocketbooks. Don't go to their businesses. Lock them out.
Like, don't you think it says something, though, just in and of itself, that, like, every time a conservative cause tries to use music, like, they're pretty much down to, like, what, 3 artists? 4? Like, if you could count Kanye West?
Well, if you could count Conway West, or what is his name now? Yao.
What?
And it's depending on who owns his it depends on who owns his
catalog. Yeah.
Catalog. I mean, they may have to deal with Mrs. Kardashian. Hi, Gabby. How are you?
Oh, yes. Hi, Gabby. And Shannon and Gwen and Phoenix.
Yeah. Now, I don't know I don't have the news story, but I don't know if you heard, but there's a bill right now in the Senate that may end Citizens United.
Oh, finally?
Yeah, I don't have the news.
Well, of course, then again, there's another one supposed to end daylight savings time, but
I know.
Well, actually, perpetually extend daylight savings time.
Yeah, so we're going to go against, the long-standing, 71% of the world.
Fine.
Thank God I have something that automatically updates time zones.
Yeah, so today, Congressman Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, introduced a constitutional amendment to overturn the Supreme Court Citizens United decision and once again allow for reasonable restrictions on corporate campaign contributions and other spending. In 2010, the Supreme Court ruled in Citizens United v. Federal Election Commissions that corporations and special interest groups could spend nearly unlimited funds on election campaigns. In the decades since, outside groups spent more than $4.4 billion in federal elections, nearly $1 billion of which was untraceable dark money, with some of the biggest contributions coming from Wall Street, the pharmaceutical industry, and the NRA. Well, now we know what happened to all the money. Thank you, Wayne LaPierre. Oh, thanks to one disastrous ruling, wealthy megadonors, corporations, and special interest groups have been able to influence elections when that power should belong with the American people. This has eroded faith in the government's ability to deliver for the people and their families, said Schiff. Dark money should have no place in our democracy. It is time to return power to the people and overturn Citizens United once and for all.
Well, not only that, but I think they should apply a cap, $1 million. You can't get elected to an office for $1 million, then you're not elected.
Well, there are some major issues with I mean, a lot of money is going into these campaigns, and a lot of these campaigns are working so far outside the scope of anything that represents actual campaigning.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are disinformation campaigns. These are, and again, like they're able to hire and test and do things with campaigns that are typically reserved for like entire governments.
Exactly.
In times of war.
Right.
Like
but,
that's the level of elections we're having.
Yeah, the average house state is spending $2 million. I think if we limit them to $1 million, they'll have to actually work for some attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not be able to just hire someone to completely just rip apart someone's life, totally destroy, honestly, intelligent discourse, people's minds. Like, I mean, I think this many years after Citizens United, we've seen its biggest victory, which is also its biggest failure, which was the Trump presidency. And even if you think Trump was a great president, I'll let you have bad taste. You have to admit that the effects, like I think we can all agree on this one, the effects of a Trump campaign and presidency did create a very polarized, somewhat cult-like following for Donald Trump.
Right. Which, by the way,
I would think normal people could agree on that one. Like, I'm not saying if that's your candidate, you think he walks on water, he was exactly who needed to be in the White House, fine, go with that. That's your belief. But can we just talk about the fact real quick that there are entire groups of people that, still think he's president, are waiting any day now for, a giant ring of child sex traffickers to be arrested and Donald Trump to be put back in office? Am I still following?
Oh,
I can't remember. It got a little wonky there.
It's insane. Anyhow, but speaking of the wonky, dumb, stupid Oompa Loompa, lost in space jackass, he's suing Lady Hillary Trump.
Hillary Trump?
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
Sorry, their names are side by side here as Hillary, and then defendant Hillary, and anyhow, looking at the legal documents, is suing Hillary Trump, the DNC, and other, alleging conspiracy linking his campaign to Russia. There's not a conspiracy. It's fact, you jackass. And a judge is just going to put you in handcuffs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this is, over 108 pages, the lawsuit rails against many of Trump's political opponents and highlights the grievances that he has complained about for years. It claims Democrats and government officials perpetrated a grab bag of offenses, from a racketeering conspiracy to a malicious prosecution, computer fraud, and theft of secret internet data. The lawsuit asked for more than $24 million in costs and damages. The suit also contains some factual inaccuracies and some of the same grandiose or exaggerated false claims that Trump has made dozens of times. So I'm just curious now, can we find out which law firm is about to lose its law license? I mean, because that's where all of his lawyers end up now. They've reached out to many defendants. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, some legal experts quickly weighed in on Trump's lawsuit Thursday, dismissing it as a meritless political stunt. So that's what I'm saying, is we're going to end up with more... Like, have you considered practicing law because Trump needs you to lose your license immediately upon getting it? Because you don't understand the law. And
I've thought about practicing law, but the problem is I'm too cut and dry. It'll be like, you're an idiot, give me my money, go the fuck away.
Well, I think that's a lot of what it is, though.
Yeah, but I think you would be
it is a lot of what it is. Pardon?
I think you would be good at practicing law.
Possibly. But no, I mean, there's just a moment there, though, where it's like, how is he still finding people to take up these cases?
Because he's an idiot.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like, here's my thing. I'm in IT, and if every single previous client that I have had ends up losing their law license or ends up losing their business, then I'm going to be a little leery of that client. Like, how does that happen?
Well, he actually has two law offices representing him this time, with what looks to be a number of lawyers. All right. So first up is Tuckton Law Group at 207 Southwest Native Avenue, Deal Park, Florida. Oh, we're not doxing.
These are public records.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Now, the other one is out of New Jersey. Because they're upon appointment administrative versus pro hoc veto, which means we're not from your state, but we'd like to practice law there. Hamble Moon and Associates LLP, and of course there's their lovely address. Feel free to reach out to them to let them know what you think of their client.
I mean, again, I don't even think you need to let them know what you think of their client. Like, here's a law firm that's apparently just like dumb enough. Like, can we just all agree that? Can we just all agree? Not only is this a client who keeps causing their legal representation to lose their law licenses, but then he never pays anyone.
Exactly. Who would take on this client? Someone desperate.
Why?
And looking for a book deal. Looking for a book deal. Guarantee you there's a book deal coming out of it.
Oh, yeah, that's if, like, as long as you're writing the NDA that you're going to sign so that you can get out of it and, like, not have to pay him money.
Right.
Though, granted, I mean, it'd be kind of funny if you just deducted it from what he owed you.
Well, I'm quite sure they took it as on commission.
I don't know. I just wonder, is there a point, like serious question for our legal system? I really have to ask. Is there a point in which a party to a lawsuit just immediately gets a default judgment against them? Like, you exist and you filed another suit or you're part of another suit. We're not even going to waste the court's time.
See, we don't
want to hear your defense. We don't want to hear your argument. Just whatever the situation is, we find in favor of whoever isn't the fuck you. Because we know this is going to be bullshit.
Well, this
So
is
we're
what
just going to
has.
save everyone's time. Sorry, go ahead.
This is what's going to have to happen. The DNC is going to have to file a slap motion. That'll stop him from filing suits against them over anything.
There is that.
Yes.
There is that. Well, one would hope.
One would hope. So, interestingly, since we're on lawsuits, let's talk about another shark coming up in the air. So, Kevin Hunter Sr. went to Instagram and done his first Instagram Live. Thank you to the organization of hunting publishers to aid him in doing an Instagram Live. Now, let me explain to you something. When I go to this, the man doesn't know social media. My mother does social media better than he does. And that's saying Mama Knight can post pictures, and she had a story up the other day. She's figuring out all sorts of shit to do on Facebook. So if you get hi Mama Knight, love you, darling. But he couldn't even do an Instagram story.
Well, he was busy with his mistress turned fiance.
Yeah.
What? I'm pretty sure Wendy has to be admitting at this point she had a fuckboy.
Well, Wendy knows she had a fuckboy, honey, but he thinks he deserves $7 million as a fuckboy.
I mean, she did stay with him for a while. He had to be services rendered.
Well, he got services rendered in the divorce. Now he's trying to go after Denmark Mercury and get more services rendered after he took full accountability for his part in the dissemination of his marriage from the daytime talk show host. And, made it very clear that he still cares about Wendy. But he sued Denmark Mercury for $7 to $10 million in additional funds for damages, because he wasn't fired correctly.
Oh,
By the way, can you get on the phone to our lawyer? I want my hour of time paid for watching that shit.
Oh, well, I don't think that's how that works.
Why not? If Trump can sue Hillary for exposing him as being Russia's fuckboy, then why can't I sue Kevin Hunter for an hour of my time to watch his bad live?
Well, you had other choices.
Not for this show.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Because if we let that through, what prevents half of the United States from suing Trump for that 4-year fucking nightmare?
Honey,
I have emotional damage.
Don't you know that's why his name was on the stimulus checks? That way he can see he already paid you for it?
No.
That's what it was about.
No. Even if it was, no. Drop in the bucket.
Uh-huh.
No.
I still think it's going to take us 20 years to recover from that asshole.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's part of how we ended up where we are today. I just have to say, butting up to Russia was a bad move.
Well, not only that, but the way he handled the pandemic. I mean, look at how Australia did it. They've had only 60 cases. 60 cases.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. The U.S. has some unique features that was going to always end up making this slightly bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think one order of magnitude would have been a lot.
Right.
2 orders of magnitude would have been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even close to where we ended up. We're so much over that.
Right.
But no, I mean, there are features of the U.S. Like we are a very, like I'm sorry if you have USA is number one theory going on. I just have to tell you no. We are running something the size of a continent, damn near it. In a set of very fractured, broken ideas of independent but dependent but independent state governments that does none of which makes any sense. Who are all pulling their own crap and fighting their own political battles on top of and in the midst of everything that was going on. To some degree, with everything, it would have been bad enough. Trying to get everyone, all 50 states and territories, on one page. With one action, without and a divided political scape that was going to exist whether or not. And a whole ton of people that were going to be sitting there going, I've got rights. All of that was bad enough. And then we dumped his napalm ass into it.
Yes, but if we had responded in October when he was informed on this, if we had moved in October when everything was told about to him by the Security Council, and he chose not to pay attention to them because Fox News was on.
Well, there's that. There's not dismantling the, one ginormous, response committee just for that. That already existed, already made, inherited from previous administration, could have just walked right in on this and been like, hey, we got this. This is why we're here. This was a projected possibility. Like, before someone brings in the word plan, it was not a planned possibility, it was a projected possibility. Some things, like starting a fire, have a point in which whether or not fire will catch. Did you meet all the conditions? Do you have a dry source of kindling? Do you have, do you have fuel? Do you have a spark? Do you have conditions prevalent to allow fire? Really? Then you might very likely have a fire. We do this every year in California during fire season. They can just about pinpoint where fires will be. They won't tell you what day it's going to start on. That's a little dicey. But they can tell you all the conditions are there. And it's going to happen. It's just a wait for the alarm to go off. So, no. But no, we disbanded them.
Yeah, it was wasting taxpayer dollars to save millions of lives.
And even because I think our numbers are still under 1 million, aren't they? Or God, am I just that out of loop?
No, I think we're over 1 million.
Oh, really? Sorry, guys. It just got to a point that just reading the butcher bill got a little much.
Wow. There comes the day when it's just like, I can't. I just can't.
No, we have not broken 1 million. 975,000. We have not broken 1 million.
Yet.
So, yet. I know. That's an important distinction. Yet.
Yeah.
But
yet. Because it's not over. We now have this new stealth variety.
Yeah. Well, and it's looking like we're going into a long variant. Or a long series of variants that this is like, hi, welcome to your new flu.
Yeah. Thank you, Oompa Loompa dumbass.
Yeah, basically.
All right. So this one's kind of interesting. You know, we've been very worried about Justice Thomas. He's been in a hospital. He's had flu-like symptoms. He's been on antibiotics. It was confirmed not to be COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this Jenny Thomas, his wife.
Mm-hmm.
It was revealed by this special select committee that she was busy texting some of these people.
Okay.
About the insurrection. You know, she already revealed that she was at a Trump rally when she shouldn't have been. She was there on the January 6th rally. It's really looking like Thomas is going to have to answer for his wife. After, he reemerged after being gone for 6 days, we really questioned if he had gone to the garden or not. Yeah. So some of these text messages are quite interesting because they were turned over by Mark, his former press secretary. There's a large ethical decision going on here. One of her statements was, help this great president stand firm, Mark. You are the leader with him who's standing for America's constitutional government at practice. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting to generate the greatest heist in history. And these were the ones released. These weren't the ones that weren't released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is sounding really damning.
Yes, very.
And if this is the tip of the iceberg of this is why this is a problem, then
mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, if this is the smoke, that's going to be a hot
Court. This is what I don't get. The Supreme Court makes its own rules. The Code of Conduct of the United States shows to provide ethical guidelines for the lower judges, but specifically does not cover justices. Roberts has said that the nine contentious aspire codes to their own behavior separately and more relevantly that Thomas conventions. A portion of the federal law requires justices and judges to disqualify themselves from any proceedings within their impartially might be reasonably questioned. That rule under all justices and judges falls and requires disqualification if a spouse has a financial interest in a subject matter controversial or in a party of proceedings and any other interest that could be subtly affected by the outcoming of the proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I think that she had a vested interest here.
Well, and we do end up seeing a lot of that. It's for being what is supposedly called an apolitical appointment.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's rare anymore that it is.
Right.
It ends up being the justices and more importantly, their families, their friends, their businesses, all of their activities end up very tied into politics.
Right.
And sitting on in that position does require a lot of discretion.
Right.
In terms of are you making the right decision for the right reasons based on sound legal principles that actually apply in the situation? Or are you stretching the law to cover a thing that it shouldn't?
Right.
Because it benefits you or someone you know or a business interest you have, your own pocket, effectively, to do so. And that's a very challenging question, and it's a very challenging situation to be in which you have information, actionable information, reliable information that you could use to unduly benefit yourself or others.
Right.
A lot of people have issues with that.
Right.
It's a very
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, you work at Kroger and you find out there's going to be a 2-for-1 sale at Kroger on something really expensive. You're going to call some friends and family and go, hey. Like, that's every person. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people.
Right.
I'll help them out.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about, a meat case at flipping Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about things that create very delicate balances in the world, like an entire stock market.
Right.
That you could upend with the information and access you have.
Right. So here's where the problem is going to come be. It is, and the latest, Jen Thomas's Willer said, it's not misconduct of any judge to have a spouse who is deeply embedded in a highly controversial event, outlandish political activities. But what is Justice Thomas's responsibilities when appeals related to the 2020 election or the January 6th riots find their way to the Supreme Court? At the very least, there's an apparent problem.
Yeah. Oh, there's a major appearance problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Right.
It is a situation that's just never going to end.
It will in about 5 years.
Well, I mean,
it's like the dress. The dress took 5 years to end.
True.
Right.
But I mean, it very much. I think if anything, January 6th really should call into question a lot of things we thought we were.
Right.
And a lot of things that we didn't spell out because we never thought we were going to need to spell them out because they seem so obvious.
Right.
That we're not apparently obvious.
Right. Well, see, and there are places that he should have recused himself already. Justice Thomas' participation in the Supreme Court case related to 2020 election controversy, and in the one February 2021 opinion dissenting as the full court decided to take up a challenge of Pennsylvania mail-in ballot proceedings. He denies support for the claim that the election fraud is a threat to America. He should not have been a part of this, according to what is now being revealed. He violated ethics already.
Yeah. Well, and that brings up bigger questions: is where has his ethics been in other situations?
Exactly.
Like, that's always the big question. Like, it's effectively that moment that if you have an employee and you find their hand in the till, yeah, then maybe this one time when you caught them red-handed, they took $1.
Right.
But then you have to start wondering, how long have they worked for you? How long have they been doing this? How much have they taken over time? Is this the first time and you just, Johnny on the spot, happened to be right there?
Right.
Or is this like they started on day one and they have been pulling hundreds of dollars out of that register every single shift over and over and over while simultaneously covering their tracks?
Right.
So that you didn't see it on paper.
Right.
That's a mess.
Right. Now, this is what he's facing if they do come out and there's clear evidence that he violated his rules. He could be impeached, but it has to be done by, again, the House, and he has to be impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate. The same process that applied for the president. Convicted of the justice has never occurred, and only one member of the High Court ever resigned under threat of impeachment. And that was in 1969. Yeah.
Wasn't that right in the Nixon years?
Yeah. The Nixon 1960s, 1967 through 72 is very interesting in American history.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
Well, and it's the real watching the what really occurs within our government, within our system, that occurs within the situations in themselves. Um, it can be very damaging. It can be very interesting, though, if you're a studier of history and looking at this and looking at what it could actually mean. And some of that may not be good news.
Oh yeah. Well, I actually pulled up an article. So Abe Fortas resigns from Supreme Court May 15th, 1969. So Abe Fortas, denying he had done anything wrong, resigned from the Supreme Court to return to private law practice. In stepping down, Fortas became the first Supreme Court justice to resign under the threat of impeachment. In 1968, President Lyndon Johnson nominated Abe Fortas, at the time an associate justice, to succeed Earl Warren as Chief Justice. So, yeah. And let's see. On the Senate floor, conservative senators mounted a filibuster against the Chief Justice nomination using a wedge issue, Fortas's acceptance of a $15,000 fee for a series of university seminars. When supporters could muster only 45 of the 59 votes needed to end debate, Fortas asked the president to withdraw his name, becoming the first nominee for that post since 1795 to fail to win Senate approval. Soon, a larger problem arose. In 1966, Fortas took a secret retainer from the family foundation of Wall Street financier Louis Wolfson, a friend and former client subsequently imprisoned for securities violations. The deal provided that in return for unspecified advice, Fortas was to receive $20,000 a year for life. Disclosure of the retainer effectively ended his judicial career.
Exactly.
So I was just curious if it was was it one of the Nixons? But it was in the same boat.
It was in the same boat.
Of like backroom, double dealing, like self-interest, all the way.
Right. So that's been interesting. Now, as you know, we have a major shortage of nurses in this country. We have a lot of nurses leaving the bedside, taking administrative jobs, taking totally new jobs, walking out of stuff. And I think after today's decision, we're going to see more. You go ahead and take the news story, and then I'll take the opinion.
All right. So, former Vanderbilt nurse Redonda Vaught found guilty on 2 charges in 2017 death of patient. A jury on Friday convicted a former Nashville nurse of reckless homicide and impaired adult abuse after she was accused of inadvertently injecting a patient with a deadly dose of a paralyzing drug. The jury deliberated for approximately 4 hours in a trial closely watched by nurses and medical professionals from across the country. Many worried that the case could set a precedent for medical errors leading to criminal charges. Redonda Vaught, 38, was indicted in 2019 on 2 charges: reckless homicide and impaired adult abuse, and the death of Charlene Murphy at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Murphy, 75, died on December 27, 2017, after being injected with the wrong drug. Murphy was supposed to receive a dose of Versed, a sedative, but was instead injected with vecuronium, which left her unable to breathe, prosecutors have said. Redonda Vaught probably did not intend to kill Miss Murphy, but she made a knowing choice, Assistant District Attorney Brittany Flatt said Thursday during the state's closing arguments. Prosecutors alleged Vaught consciously disregarded warnings and risks when she pulled the wrong medication from an electronic dispensing cabinet that required her to search for the drug by name and was therefore culpable in Murphy's death. Yeah. I've pre-read this one, so I'm going to inject real quick. There's an additional problem here is that there were also issues with that system that were causing the system to constantly flash warnings that were not necessarily adequate for the situation.
Right.
As in, it was constantly telling them something's wrong, something else is wrong, something else is wrong. You need to override this. You need to override that. You can't do this.
Well, not only that, but this drug shouldn't have been a searchable drug. The drug should have been in the chart for an order. What occurred here was a doctor's order wasn't entered in, so she had to search for an emergency dispatch of the drug. And it being one that was pre-electronic dispensing, and knowing what a med cart looks like and how messy a med cart can get. This is a very powerful problem for multiple reasons. One, there's electronic control on these drugs. You have to have authorization. You have to sign them out. You have to have the orders done. The distribution of the drug was wrong because it was dissolved into saline. It shouldn't have been a dissolvable into saline drug. This drug should have been able to immediately be an injectable premix. This one wasn't. So she just assumed that they were out of the liquid that it would normally be. So there's multiple nursing issues. Vanderbilt, however, needs to be sued. Okay? They should be sued. They're walking out of this with nothing. They don't go on charges for having a failed medical system. They don't go on charges for having a med system that disputed the wrong drug.
Well, and I have a bigger question here, which is, so basically the med cart is not actually dispensing the meds fundamentally, is what I think everyone's learning from this. Is it really, like, it's an over glorified charting system.
Right.
Like, that's it. That's all it does. It's not protecting it. Like, other than, unless you're a nurse, you theoretically can't open it.
Right.
It's not really protecting anyone. It's not helping to match patient to drug to ensure fewer errors.
See, that's the way the system is supposed to work. And I'll be right back. We've got to let our little man out.
Alrighty. Because, I mean, fundamentally, that would have been my prior assumption, is that, like, other than, you know, yes, that med cart's being locked down to where you need codes and to look for the meds, and that it should be popping open the right drawer with the right med for the right code, that one would assume that in addition to monitoring, you know, which provider of healthcare services is requesting that, or at least what code associated with them is being used, that it would also be very carefully connected to what patient for what drug.
Right.
And,
and the
have some major issues.
The old system, now this was when, now granted, when I was in medicine, we will go back into a century. You had all your drugs on your cart prescribed for your patients, or pharmacy brought them to you. If it was a class 3 drug, let's go for an example of one that I commonly had to give at one time because of the patient's condition, which was Haldol. That was in a double lock system. 2 nurses had to agree on that drug choice before it could be given. Dilaudid, 2 nurses had to agree on that system, and both keys had to unlock the med cart. This new computer system takes away that safety protocol.
Well, and I think I have a secondary question here is, Versed, I think I could understand being on a med cart, at least maybe in a general stock sense, now that we have this better understanding that this is just basically a walking pharmacy.
Right.
I mean, effectively. Vecuronium?
Vecuronium, it's because it's in a hospital system. So this is a hospital that is commonly giving surgeries. It would have been on her. It should have been stocked within the system for the automatic pharmacy to do this.
Well, but just like you're on a floor?
Well, she wasn't on a nursing. She was not a nursing floor nurse.
Okay.
She was I believe she was pre-surgical, post-surgical.
Okay, if she was because this woman was going for medical imaging,
right?
And I'm sorry, the way I read it is it sounded like this was sitting in a med cart, like on a floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, why the hell would you ever need a paralytic on a floor?
Well, one is okay. Cases drawn national attention, blah 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 blah. This was in Vanderbilt University Medical Center, so she was already in pre and post surgical. It's like if you remember, and you may not because they had already give you Versat to begin with, when you were in surgery, getting ready for surgery, and they gave you those 3 shots.
Well, yeah, the pre-op, I remember that. Like, right. I'm very clear on that both times. But like again, I wasn't, I was going into literal surgery, not just medical imaging.
See,
and I'm trying to figure out
for them.
Like, what is this? What is this poor old lady's path through this hospital?
Well, she would have been probably scheduled for a medical imaging that's an invasive medical imaging for her to be getting a sedative, i.e., if you're going for a colonoscopy, i.e.,
well, because I think one article I read was this poor old woman just like she got a little antsy, and she was going for an MRI. Right. So basically, they were looking to just kind of relax her down.
Right.
Like, just take the edge off.
Right. Yeah, so she was going for, they were looking to what I call twilight her. And the order was given for the twilight medicine. And instead of giving the twilight medicine, they gave her the med system itself dispatched a paralytic.
Well, and I guess my next question comes in is, why is this all in the same cart? Like,
because
what justifies?
Well, it's an electronic pharmacy system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's preloaded with everything you might need on that wing. So if she was in a university, and this looks like she was in a surgical wing, they would have everything to take you right down, prep you for surgery, and go. Well,
and I guess I think to further explain the question I'm kind of getting at is more so is why not why not have an entire second med cart and literally divide it out between normal, common, non-lethal, except in like total case of like your nurse is trying to kill you,
right?
Meds. And a secondary med cart that is like, no. If you're in this one, you're taking some serious danger here. Like, this is to knock the motherfucker out.
Well, and that was the old double lock. Both nurses had to agree system. But when they updated into a basic walled pharmacy that the computer chooses your vial, shoots your vial out, and literally a chimp that can hit a key can give you medication and cut their nursing staff in half, is when things like this occur.
Okay, so that finally gets me to where like the problem is. The thing that makes the most sense is exactly what you're saying used to occur is you had this, totally segregated. You had a med card over here that's nice happy pills, and you have a med card over here that's like, this is some dangerous shit. Are you sure you mean to be on this one?
Right.
And if so, grab the second key.
Yeah, no, it's the second nurse, because she has to verify the drug. She has to verify the order. Then she's allowed to unlock the box. She has to then verify the medicine again. and verify that it's given to a patient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which I guess. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So there's a problem, commonality problem. I don't know off the top of my head what certain medications are, but I know how it all does, why it's used for. I know the medicines I commonly gave. I know when I go to see my doctor, my medicines, we deal with them every day. This nurse knew what medicine she was looking for. The computer spit out a medicine that was not what she was looking for, that patient did not have an order for. The computer was supposed to be the replacement for that second nurse, and it wasn't. All it had was red flags. She should have had to have a code override. She should have had a charge override. It's like if you come in here to do something to my computer, you have to have my PIN 40 times to install a program.
Not that bad, but yeah, I get your point.
Okay. Or if I go to work on I think in our complete relationship, I've touched your computer 15 times, skipping the dusting.
Okay.
Every time you have to log in, you have to do this. That's the way the system should have been designed, especially for a paralytic item. Now, often I could see this item being used if you have a seized patient that you need to incubate. Oh, where have we seen incubation being a lot of here lately?
Well, intubation, yeah. With COVID-19, yeah. No, I can get that. I can follow that to a point. Mm-hmm. I'm just sitting here going, it sounds like this is a horrible use case of technology replace human, right. At least in terms of how it was done.
Right.
That no. You shouldn't be able to get to this med in like 2 letters or 3 letters or probably even 5 letters. Like this should be a spelling bee. Can you spell Vicuronium? No. You can't administer Vicuronium.
Well, not only that, but a proper system, if done correctly, when that red flag should have had to be overrode by another nurse.
Mm-hmm. Or kicked to a pharmacy, or kicked to somewhere else in the building to go, what in the hell?
No, it should have been it would make more sense, especially if you're working in a situation where you need to incubate somebody. You bring up that med to give. You have you use your authorization code to get the med. Another nurse has to override with her authorization code, because I'll promise you, any code working out there, you're going to have 6 nurses there.
Right.
In my day, there may only be 3 now, or 2.
It's still 2. You still got 2.
Still 2. Authorize. You have to have another authorization code. I also see a problem with in here before we even get there is those codes should have to change daily. She should not have a code that she just punches in.
Well, and especially not that would allow dispensement of a medication of that power.
Right. I'm saying is,
you know what I mean?
And what I'm saying is her code should change daily. She should not be able to use 1313 to unlock that chest.
Right.
It should have to come on. When she comes on to shift, she gets a new code every day. You know why? Because this is what will happen if you have your own passcode. Everyone has their same passcode. Hey, Joe, what's your passcode? 1212? Okay.
Yeah.
No. Or better yet, we have the technology on our fucking phones. Can you tell me why University of Vanderbilt does not have fingerprint scanning for their med carts?
Well, but then again, that also means it's your own unique personal code. But then I do think that it sounds like this is one where you would need a second authorization level, which would have been if it had assuming the system would work well enough.
Right.
Like, given they already know they have problems with the system.
Right.
If the system would have worked well enough to take Vicuronium and go, okay, I know it's Vicuronium. I know that it's a double code.
Mm-hmm.
I would think if she got prompted for that second code, and it worked, the system at bare bones worked well enough to know it's Vicuronium and it's paralytic, and it's a 2 code. If it had worked well enough to get to that point and she had to start typing a second code, I'm pretty sure we could have a living 75-year-old, at least through that situation, because I would think it would kick off in your brain. Wait a minute. I tried to pull Versed.
Right.
Versed's a single code. I can dispense it to any Tom, Dick, or Harry that walks through my front door. I shouldn't. Legally, I can get fired for it. It's a bad idea, but I can't kill people with it.
Right.
Well, I can, but I really have to fuck up.
Right. Well, you know, you can. All right. So this is the process she went through when when Versat could not be versed. She overread the cabinet safeguard to unlock more power for medications, then searched VE. The cabinet search tool chose Vectoronium by mistake. The cabinet search tool chose it by mistake. Versa then overlooked the numerous warnings that she had selected the wrong drug, including the label on the medication bottle that read, "Warning, paralyzing agent," according to court records.
So I think we do still go back to the fundamental. There is, like, granted, I'm not saying she did everything right that day and this was all the fault of the cabinet. I am saying that there's an overwhelming amount of suggestion to me that had this cabinet have worked correctly, had she not have been given a code that was like, here's your master skeleton key to the big giant medical box of like fun toys, and she had not been so pre-programmed by that job to just ignore, fuck off, give me my fucking med, because it was so malfunctional.
Right.
And this was the whole system, not just this one stupid cabinet.
No. You know, she goes to give Tylenol and it flips up a warning, red flag, this drug could cause heart arrhythmia. Warning, this drug could cause anal leakage. Warning, this drug could cause GI tracts. That's 3 warnings before she's able to give a fucking Tylenol.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, then, so if you're all day long.
Okay, and then she overlooked the warning signs of the drug mix-up because she became complacent on a busy day. That's from the prosecutor's standpoint. Let me give you the nurse's standpoint. She's the only nurse there for 12 patients that are going in for pre-surgical operations. All of them are at least critical or above critical condition. And you have to do every move on that med cart. You have to hit 3 to 5 warning labels to get to the med. Y'all guys do that at fucking Walmart. Do you want this discount? Do you want that? Do you want an extended warranty? Do y'all even read that? I got offered an extended warranty on my duffel bag.
and did you even think about it later? Like, maybe I should have taken the extended warranty on my duffel bag.
Yeah.
No. Like, again, and it even comes up in just general computer systems with warnings. This was one of the worst problems that we have faced. We have tried everything in the world in IT land to get people to quit randomly downloading crap and installing said crap on their computer that ultimately leads you to having viruses, malware, and unwanted programs creating hell, havoc, and chaos on your computer system. In addition to that layer, each of these programs comes with an end-user license agreement that no one has ever read.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Maybe there's a couple of autistic people in the world that have, just because they can't not read it, but otherwise, no one has read. Then you have to agree to this, and do you want to install that, and do you want to do this, and do you want to do that, and do you want to do this other thing, and would you like to give us your firstborn? We are conditioned to keep hitting next, okay, fine, whatever, I give up, I don't care anymore, just do the thing.
Right. Yeah.
Just let me hit the button and get the thing. I can't see her as being any different than anyone else. In like, again, I'm not saying she did everything perfectly.
Right.
I'm just saying I am horrified by the number of nurses that it's like, but if I do my job the way that you want me to do my job, we will have more people dying per shift than you have ever seen before, because I am stuck on patient 2, page 37 of warnings. Do you want to take the gamble that I'm going to hit enough of the right letters on your automated med cart and not be so damn exhausted?
Yeah.
That I misread a label, didn't see a label right, whatever, and somehow managed to keep giving my patients, like I have for years, the right medications that they're supposed to get, or at least not enough of the ones that they shouldn't to kill them.
Right.
And occasionally we have an oops, or do you want people literally dying because I can't get through your med cart?
Right.
To meet all the legal obligations required of me.
Right.
To properly administer this medication to cover my own ass and keep my own license.
Right.
As you have people dropping like flies.
Right. And see, this isn't even a tracked system. This is what I mean by that. Because I went and I pulled up her nursing board court appearance when they revealed her nurse's license. They're not even sure if the machine gave the wrong drug or she searched for the wrong drug.
Okay. That's again, as an IT person, I have major issues with that.
Okay.
Because I would think this would be one system in the building. You want to be really specific as to what you're tracking so that you can recreate. Like, that system needs a black fucking box.
It does.
Treat it like an aircraft.
Right, because they're not talking about the med carts that I used to push back many years ago. What they're talking about is a med wall. So it's a pharmacy wall of locked boxes. You enter your code, you enter the order number, you are supposed to be able to pull that order up. That order is going to show the medicine that the doctor ordered. Okay?
And never fail.
And never fail. But if Johnny from pharmacy said box 33, think of it as a mailbox.
Box 32
is verceptilide, and box 32 is vermectinide. And Johnny isn't paying attention because Johnny is just trashing it in there because he's got all these other med things to fill because, the pharmacy's short-staffed too.
And then it all goes out the window. So she could have even typed in Versed. Theoretically, not saying that would happen, but theoretically, she could have typed in Versed. The cart could have popped the drawer and all the warnings for Versed. There's no record in the system relevant to tell you what the fuck it did.
Right.
All we know is it dispensed a vial of vecuronium.
Right.
For some reason. Either she overwrote it and it flashed and tried to tell her it's vecuronium. Or...
Right, because there's a secondary barcode on the bottle. So the computer system recognized the barcode. This is the check system that's supposed to occur here. Guys, sorry, I'm pulling stuff as I need there.
Okay.
Okay. And good night, Shannon. Rest well, darling. Listen to the replay. There's barcodes for every damn thing. Who you are, where you are, all that. She could have even he could have scanned the wrong barcode for the box. The system recognized. I mean, there is a computer error. Furthermore, these nurses are no longer forced to realize what medicine they're giving because all they're doing is punching and clicking codes.
Right. Well, and again, it's an overarching theme here
Yeah.
that this is a situation in which the system that is supposed to replace a second human and double oversight
Right.
was replaced with a system that doesn't
Right.
have the capability to do that.
Right.
That if your double oversight is another human being who is removed from the situation entirely, who's and this person is someone you can't even go back and trace. Did the person who loaded the machine load it correctly?
Right.
Did the system understand what the hell it was dispensing? Did it double check it in any way with, like, what was it to the system? Was it vecuronium or was it Versed?
Yeah.
If it doesn't know the difference, it's not giving oversight.
Right.
If it cannot sit there and have a moment of, like, wait a damn minute.
Right.
I don't know what you think you're dispensing, but what?
Right.
Because it doesn't have situational awareness. It doesn't have context to what is happening in that hospital, in that moment, with that patient, and what they're planning to do with the patient. Another nurse standing right there, looking at it at least for a split second, is going, Versed? That's not what it gave me.
Right.
I got vecuronium. Are you trying to kill her?
Right. Or why are you giving this med? What,
Yeah.
That's not the order. I know that's what the machine spit out, but that's not the order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what her attorney said in court. Vanderbilt was struggling with a problem that prevented timely communication between its electronic health records, medical cabinet, and the hospital pharmacy. He said, which caused a significant delay in obtaining medications. The hospital's short-term workaround was to override the safeguards on the cabinet so they could get the drugs quickly as needed. Okay. In a code situation, you have about 3.5 minutes to crack the ribs, get the breathing tube on, and get moving. 3.5 minutes. The new med cabinets take at least a minute to authorize the medicine. That's 2 minutes. If you got to go through system malfunctions and system problems, that's 1 minute. 1 minute to get an intubation tube in. That's like trying to install a hard drive into a laptop in less than a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And trying to do it through, the floppy disk drive. At best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that's where I'm seeing that, like, I'm wondering how many nurses out there are going to just keep doing what they're doing. Like, and just look at Vanderbilt, just one hospital. Not every hospital in America. Let's just look at one. How many of the nurses in that building are going to just keep doing what they've been doing, which is exactly what she did, which is listen to hospital administration tell them, just override it?
Well, if you're a nurse and you're listening to me, understand something very clear, and it has been sent as a shotgun across the bows. If you are put into a situation where you have to override a safeguarded system, if you are put in a situation where you have to override a doctor's order, refuse the assignment. You are not required by Nurses Board to accept an assignment where safety protocol for your patients is not guaranteed. That is the failure of where she failed at. That is why her license should have been pulled. And every Vanderbilt nurses that are working the floor in 2017 to today, if that system is still in place, should immediately refuse assignment. That is the only fault I can see from this nurse's case.
Well, yeah, and that was basically where I was going, is how many are going to keep doing that versus how many are going to actually get the message that you can't, like, you should have never accepted this situation.
Right.
Like, that ultimately, this is what it becomes, is at best, you are going in patient by patient, dose by dose, playing Russian roulette with your license.
Yeah.
At best. That's your best case scenario, is you get to go home at the end of the day and lose your license and your job and your means of making a living, and go find something tomorrow. That's your best case scenario. That's the Russian roulette you're playing. If not, the worst case scenario is this: you're going to prison.
Right. For possibly life.
For murder.
Now,
because
in our profession, we are, you do take this on. We've known this for a while, that the hospitals will scapegoat the nurses every day because they see you as replaceable. That is why most nurses are not in there 40 years anymore. They see you as replaceable. They see you as, oh, you're short-staffed. That's so sad. Oh, you've been short-staffed for a month. That's so sad. There is not a reason in the human history of this world that I should have a record for 122 hours of overtime at one of the local nursing homes. Not a reason.
Well, except for corporate greed, irresponsibility, poor management. That seems like an exhaustive list of reasons. None of them.
I don't know.
None of them good.
Yeah, lack of corporate responsibility. Vanderbilt's not getting sued. Vanderbilt's not getting put in prison. The CEO of Vanderbilt said, "Oh, just override it." Isn't being charged.
Yeah.
This nurse is. The doctors in that hospital ain't getting charged. And you know where this stems from? You guys might find this a little bit interesting. Do you know why they even went to this system?
To reduce nurse abuse of medication?
No.
No, really? Okay.
Yeah. It was a problem with lower tab security.
Oh, good God.
Okay. It was a problem with lower tab security. Lower tabs were being prescribed that wasn't in CDC guidelines. And this system was supposed to stop that from happening.
Well, and I think another key point in this is we're not talking about a situation that developed because it was 2:00 in the morning, the hospital lost power, and all systems failed.
No.
This wasn't a, we have a problem. We know there's a problem. We are working immediately to get this fixed. Please, hang in there with us for the next week. There are situations I could understand why nursing staff would be like, okay, we can be accommodating. We can work through this. We'll play through this. We'll deal with it.
Right.
As your nurses do.
Right.
But after a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That's not, being a team player and just, suck it up, buttercup. It's not the lovely world of nursing you thought it'd be. Shit happens, work around, play through. It's literally, we've decided this isn't worth fixing.
Right.
The old woman died because this problem wasn't worth fixing to Vanderbilt Medical Center.
Right. Well, the old woman died. Well, the old woman died because a drug. Let's get to the stem, the seed of the problem here.
Okay.
An old woman died because there was like 4 people, and I was trying to find their names, but they pressured the CDC to release all this pain medicine stuff that affected pain patients. And then when there was a problem, they had to get a control on it. So they took the decision-making out of the nurse's hands and out of the doctor's hands and put it in the hands of a poorly built computer program.
That was primarily focused on abusable meds.
Exactly.
In terms of meds that one would take recreationally.
Exactly.
Like, that's what they focused on. That's what they built it around.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turn around and go, oh, yeah, and there's some other shit in there that'll kill you, but, you know,
just hit the button. Just hit the button. Just hit the button.
Overrides. As long as it's not like Loratab or, you know,
Oxycontin or Dilaudid, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's where. Now, do we see the CDC getting sued? Do we see the FDA getting sued? Do we see Vanderbilt getting sued? No. We see a worker that most likely was working short because she says it's a busy day. For a nurse's busy day, it means she's overpatient. Yeah. She's overpatient for the amount of people she could provide for. And she's just hitting codes, hitting orders, popping meds. Opening a drawer, overload, take a med, inject, give to patient, go to the next one. Respond to the next bell. Answer the next call. And if she doesn't, her license is pulled. If she doesn't, then she is literally could lose her livelihood, her job, and her health. Yeah.
It's an impossible situation, is what it fundamentally, you take everything out of it. It's an impossible situation.
Yeah.
This lawsuit or this legal situation to it, I don't know how anyone can directly blame her for this woman's death. I'm not saying she didn't deliver the drug. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have delivered the drug. I'm not saying a number of things. There was no intent to harm this woman. She was doing the best of her ability, given multiple levels of a flawed system. To administer the right drug to the right patient in the right quantities as best as she could, given the situation.
Right.
You tie one hand behind her back, you smear Vaseline on her glasses, and, you know, you plunge her into darkness. Like, I'm talking about this in a sensory deprivation per level of problem that's occurring in this hospital with this system, with the whole situation of her employment. You keep stacking those together, and it's, you know, is it cruel or callous at this point to say, I'm surprised there's not a stack of corpses?
Oh, there probably is. Okay. The only reason that this was called into question, this was called into case, was because CCM, the company that paid the hospital, questioned the medical error. Okay, that's the only reason this was called into question. Yeah. The hospital still hasn't responded, declines to make comment, declines to say anything. According to the hearing at the board, Glaire Minlin, the state health investigator, testified Thursday that she vaguely recalls hearing about a computer problem at Vanderbilt that prevented communication with the medicational cabinet, but said that it was not. She had no recollection of whether the hospital staff commonly used override functions for critical to circumvent the problem. Oh, I don't remember. Where did we hear that before? Oh, I don't recall. Oh, I don't remember.
I vaguely remember.
I vaguely remember a problem. So she admitted to base fact that, yeah, there may have been a computer problem, but she doesn't remember if it was common for them to override. She doesn't remember. And we're not talking about. And
I'm sorry, her role again?
She is state health investigator.
Yeah. Doesn't that seem like something? I'm just saying, doesn't that seem like something?
Right.
You might want to make oneself more involved in. If you can vaguely remember,
right?
Don't you think that might be something you want to dig a little deeper into? Because that sounds like it could be a major problem.
Right.
I would want a lot of documentation on what the hell's going on.
Right.
How widespread is it? Like, at least get the hospital to go on record that they had to respond to an investigation by the state health inspector that says, okay, this is the problem we're having. This is the situations in which it occurs. This is the ultimate effect that it has. And even if the hospital sits there and plays it down, dumbs it down, makes it sound better than it is, there's at least a paper trail there that says, look, this is what the hospital said was going on, at least. This is the claim they're making. That, if they're sitting there going, oh, it's a small problem, it rarely occurs, it's not that big a deal, occasionally nurses have to override, they've been told to be more careful in those situations. At least at that point, the hospital's done something. They've committed to something on paper. This is, look. And then you can go back and evaluate that as evidence in this trial and have a moment there with that of like, was this even legit? Like, this is shit. This was not an uncommon occurrence or a rare situation. This is not how you handled it with staff. This is not, but this is the lie you told.
Right. But the problem here is that medical system isn't designed to document. It isn't designed to organize. It doesn't record record. What it's designed to do is shoot out a pill. And she admitted that she didn't check the medicine, that she just gave the medicine that the cabinet dispensed. Won't say that, that never happens. But I have a problem. I work on a network. That network can tell the time a call initiated with a client, the time the client connected to my network, the time the call, and then we're talking within mere seconds, connected to my phone, down to the mere second, that call disconnected. It can tell me down to the millisecond how long that call was, what carriers I was using, what network I was on. You're telling me that a med cabinet can't do that, can't record that information? That's what Vanderbilt.
This is oversized for the amount of computing processing. This is oversized. This would be your of equipment needed to enable that cabinet to not only record every single interaction anyone ever had with it, ever. Every maintenance, every touch, every roll, every movement. You could store that on this. I guarantee you. And you can't manage something the size of a thumb drive to make that cabinet functionally intelligent so that it knows every single med that was loaded in it, every single med dispensed from it, every single issue and prompt and keystroke that was recorded on it, every single possible interaction someone could have with that card, including where it is.
No, this is a wall, so it stands in a wall.
Oh, it's a wall. Okay. But still, even better, like you don't have room for a flippin', mailbox-sized computer system. But I'm saying even the carts that you commonly see nurses pushing around, you're telling me there's no space for something the size of a hand phone or a cell phone or smaller that can intelligently record what the hell it's doing.
Right.
And who's doing it and what they did to do it. So that you can have a literal black box interaction with that system to know this is what happened and why, this is what happened and how, this is what happened and who, this is what happened and on and on and on. Yeah, Velcro it to the side of the damn thing. You might have to put it in the cabinet, okay? Put it behind the wall, not the outside of the wall.
Right.
You don't want it to go missing.
Right. But when they moved to a computer system and took control of medications out of the nurse's hands, out of the pharmacy's hands, and put it to a freaking barcode, and you hope the barcode's in the right door, and made the decisions based on a computer program, that computer doesn't know the difference. All it knows is 000222137, 00012221. That's all it knows.
It's a medication gumball machine.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. It's a vending machine. It's an A7 B6 3, bingo fucking vending machine for meds. You don't have a system that intelligently understands what is in it. I with vision can visually see into a glass fronted vending machine.
Mm-hmm.
And know that when I press B7, I'm getting a fucking bag of Doritos.
Right.
Nowhere on this thing does it interact with the nurse in a way in which she's able to look at it, go, yeah, B7's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Not only that, but when you have these bottles of pills, you can instantly see that there's another pill in there.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like the rest. This has happened in our house. This has happened. I have sent someone to go get me a med out of my basket, and they have brought me the right bottle of med. I have opened it up and looked, and my trazodone and my trazodone get put in the same bottle by the pharmacist.
If not by you, just by pure accident. You changed your mind. You were exhausted and you opened the wrong bottle. Like, again, wide awake, you can open the bottle and look in there and go, well, shit, that ain't right.
Right. The nurses don't have that anymore. They don't even have that opinion anymore. All right. So I'm getting heated. I'm going to take a moment. You talk about our Patriot.
Okay, so of course we love our Patreons and we do appreciate their support. We really do appreciate you guys, especially today. I've noticed a lot of you, in addition to the fact that even Lady Gwen was running Pagan Day of Prayer, but I noticed many of you were here today for that, and we really do appreciate you. We want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Gist, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, and Charles Shaw, and Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become one of our wonderful baristas and receive all the wonderful benefits they receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com. And again, guys, thank you so much for being with us today and joining in on Pagan Day of Prayer. It was very much appreciated and has been a wonderful event for everyone. I know Byron Ballard was here today for that, as well as Tommy Artist. You heard some wonderful meditations from The Optimist. Like, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting people. Like, it was a very packed day. There was Lady Morgana.
I just call her the Heliton priestess out of Parkersburg.
The Hellenic.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh no! Did we forget a name? Why did we forget a name?
Because I know the title before the name.
Like, she's so absolutely awesome, and my brain just blanked. Come on, Phoenix, pop in.
Give me a minute.
Come on. Like, I'm sitting here and I can see her. Isadora.
Yeah,
oh
Isadora.
My God. How did we not get Isadora out of our mouth? So anyway, yeah, it was a really awesome day. It's been a very long day. We've been going since before 9 a.m. We are still going. It is after midnight on our 6th live stream of today. He's been on air 6 times. This is my first time on. I've been sitting in the wings. But yeah, no, it's been a fun, exciting day.
Now, guys, pay attention. Pay attention to your nurses out there. Pay attention to your doctors. But more importantly, pay attention to your hospitals. Be talking to them, looking at their med orders, asking them, get involved with your medications. Ask the nurse what you're being given if you go into the hospital. What's this med? Why are you giving me this med? They'll have to slow down and answer those questions. They won't be happy about it. That's okay. That will be the best safety measure. The best safety measure for you. Because if that lady or her family member, and if you've got a family member in the hospital, as soon as they're allowed to have visitors again, get your ass back in there, sit your ass down in that uncomfortable recliner, grab your laptop, come listen to me, and stay with them. Question every move your medical team makes. And it's not because you shouldn't trust them. It is because you need them to think a moment. And some of these nurses are pushed to capacity on a normal day. We have just gone through 3 years of hell for the nurses. They have fought and fought on the front lines, stayed with patients, held iPads till their patients passed. Be talking with them.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So we will be back next Tuesday. We do have a guest coming in. We love that. And then, of course, Joe will pop in to do hot topics. Hopefully they won't be as fiery as these. Because Lord knows, if so, I need to call Super Doc and have him discuss my blood pressure medicine.
Oh, well, let's hope he doesn't give you Versed.
Possibly. Actually, I think this is one medicine that needs to be pulled because this one has a history. This one has a dark history. This is one of the medicines that has been used countless amount of times that really has no place in medicine. There are other better alternatives. Okay. So with that, acknowledge and focus on your medicines. Be here to see us Tuesday nights and enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, stay sane, hold on to your own responsibilities. May your Wi-Fi be strong. May your toilet paper and coffee be plentiful. And may you have all the time you need to get yourself together, dust yourself off, and get back into your start of the week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder.